Elden Ring is a game that most people have heard of and many have played. It's a game that many rank as one of, if not the best, of the series. I am one of those people. And it's a game that many say is one of, if not the best game they've ever played. I am also one of those people. Elden Ring is also the last Soulsborne game, that I have yet to talk about. Elden Ring was technically the first Souls game that I ever played. But I wouldn't really say it was the game that got me into playing the Souls games. I've always put that as Dark Souls 1. Because to be completely honest with you, I didn't really like Elden Ring the first time I played it. Because to be honest, I sucked at the game. I thought it was too hard. Yeah, I was kind of a fucking bitch back then. I was horrible at video games. But after playing the other Souls games, I did eventually come back to Elden Ring and played the fuck out of it. I threw like 100 hours into that save, and all 100 hours of it were glorious. And after playing all the other games, I can really tell that Elden Ring is the accumulation of the past 13 years of work that FromSoft put in with their other Souls games. But when I started thinking about what exactly I wanted to talk about in the video, I came to a realization. What exactly do I love about Elden Ring? What makes me place it above all the other games? Why do I love Elden Ring? Honestly, I don't know. I really can't quite put my finger on what exactly it is that makes me rank this game as high as I do. But I do have some ideas that I would like to talk about and discuss in this video. In my opinion, Elden Ring is the most neutral out of all the games. Let me just break it down for you here, exactly what I mean by that. Elden Ring doesn't have my favorite boss lineup out of the games. I don't know if I would say any of the bosses, or even in my top 10, maybe a few. I'd have to think about it. It doesn't have my favorite weapons out of the games. It doesn't have my favorite combat. There are other Souls games that do all that better, in my opinion. However, Elden Ring does all of them really good. Not great, not the best, but really good. It has some really cool weapons and builds you can create in the game. It has some pretty solid bosses. It's just that the highs of the bosses are not as high as other Souls games, but the lows definitely are not as low as other Souls games. The combat is fun. It's not slow and kind of clunky like Dark Souls 1 or 2, but it's not as fast as a game like Sekiro, but still a good, fast game that allows the combat to be very enjoyable. And I think it did what Sekiro did, but on a larger scale. I believe I said this in the Sekiro video, but Sekiro is a very consistently good game. It's just very solid throughout the entire game. And so is Elden Ring, except it's much larger, but it's still consistently, in my opinion, very good. There are definitely a few areas that aren't very great, and I do look back on with a negative view, but they are simply just nowhere near as bad as the shitty places in other games. So I would say that's one of the reasons that I think Elden Ring appeals to me so much. It's just solid throughout everything. Every single part of the way through the entirety of the game, I can just enjoy myself and not be fucking annoyed and hate the game. Which honestly is something that a very few of the games can say, I would think. Most of the games, I feel like there are at least a decent portion of it where it's just really annoying or boring or something, but Elden Ring, I don't really ever feel that way with it. I would say in most of the games, the consistency of bosses or areas in general is just much weaker compared to Elden Ring. While some games like DS3 might have bosses that I like more and I think are better than basically every Elden Ring boss, the consistency of the bosses I just don't think is as good as Elden Ring's. But speaking of the areas, I think the big reason and probably one of the main reasons that I do love Elden Ring as much as I do, is because of its world. I'm a fucking sucker for an awesome open world map. When done correctly. You would think with such a large map that Elden Ring has, there would be a lot of nothingness, but you'd be completely wrong. This world is full of stuff to do. It feels real. It feels alive. Something that, in my opinion, many open worlds fail at, but not Elden Ring. For me, it really is like if Red Dead 2 and the Souls games combined. It has the depth and the beauty and perfection of exploration of Red Dead 2's map combined with all the Soulsborne aspects. I honestly couldn't ask for anything better. That's just fucking the perfect game for me. That shit's awesome. Elden Ring fucking nailed exploration. They did it basically as perfect as you can. You could just start riding off in a random direction, see something, go to it, fight a boss or start a side mission, then see something else. Go to that, along the way, see something else, go check that out. Oh shit, it's a cave. Go down, explore the cave, end up fighting a boss and gain a sick ass charm. Leave the cave, walk through a forest, and end up riding straight into a dragon fight. It's just a bunch of shit, and yet it just feels so real. None of it feels forced. It just feels like just a regular, just solid experience of exploring the map. And again, like I said, very few games have been able to do that for me. My gold standard of video game maps has always been Red Dead 2. That shit had me captivated for hundreds of hours. But no world had ever been able to reach that same level of exploration that Red Dead 2's maps could provide me. Until Elden Ring. And to be honest, I really can't choose which world I like more. Because in my opinion, they're both perfect. And after a 100+ hour playthrough, I thought I had done most things. But when I did another playthrough to get ready for the DLC, I found out just how much stuff I missed. There was more. So much more to see. It was seriously fucking amazing. Now, speaking of the DLC, I feel like I got into these games at just the right time because basically as soon as I finished my playthrough for Elden Ring, my, I guess technically second playthrough, I was already going to get ready to do another playthrough so that I could be ready for the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. And let me just say something right now. Shadow of the Erdtree is the best DLC the FromSoft has ever created. And don't get me wrong, I love the Old Hunters, it's a great DLC. I love all the DLCs, really, from FromSoft. But Shadow of the Erdtree was fucking peak. However, it was also a pretty controversial DLC because of its difficulty, which I just want to say was a load of fucking hogwash. I don't think the DLC should have ever taken its difficulty down. Like, the games are literally about persevering even through the hardest challenges. And yet everyone was complaining on it was being hard. Yeah, no shit. That's kind of what they fucking do. Now, I will say this. There were some bosses with visual clutter that didn't need to be fixed because good fucking luck being able to actually see what the boss was doing. I'm talking about you, Promise Consort Radon. You piece of shit. But, besides that, I believe the difficulty should have never changed. But, that's all been said and done for a while now, and there's no changing that. But, back to the actual DLC. This motherfucker Miyazaki cooked up another absolutely fucking stunning world with even more to explore. And yeah, the size of Limgrave, my ass. This map was huge. And the bosses? Oh my great googly goosh gosh goodness, this shit was fucking awesome. The DLC bosses are some of my favorite of the entire game. R'hllana might be like my second favorite Elden Ring boss. Bale absolutely being my favorite Elden Ring boss. And my favorite dragon fight. Sorry my dear, I love you. But come on man. Bale is fucking peak. And now that I think about it, I would say my top 3 Elden Ring bosses are all DLC bosses. Midra number 3, R'hllana number 2, and Bale number 1. Now, just a little side tangent here. before I go back talking about the DLC, I honestly added this little part after writing the entire script, but I kind of wanted to add this part in because I wanted to talk about it. It honestly has nothing to do with the DLC, but I do have something that's probably very controversial. A very controversial opinion, I would say. I don't think I've ever heard anyone else say this. About an Elden Ring boss. I don't like Malekith. Or I guess I should be more specific. I don't like Beast Clergyman. Now, before you fucking fillet me alive or anything, just let me explain myself, please. I think he's a very cool fight. It looks very cool. But when I was doing my level 1 run, I realized how shit this boss was. I never realized it before because I could get through the boss pretty quick when you're super strong. You really get to see everything, all the moves. And I realized how ass this fight is. His hitbox is one of the worst fucking things I've ever seen in my entire goddamn life. I'd be standing in this guy's ass, do a charge attack with my spiky balls, and still somehow missed as I watched it go through his fucking leg. And this was like a regular occurrence. This would happen probably at least once or twice, if not more, every single run. And then, when he decided to do the fucking move where he shoots the rocks up in the air, while they're falling down, and you can't really see them because of all the fucking rocks in your face, he would still do moves. Mostly the one where he throws rocks at you, when you can't see the rocks, because the rocks are coming down in front of you. So you just have to fucking know. You just have to sense it. Just somehow sense it that he's gonna fucking throw the rocks. Because you can't fucking see it. And then, with the same fucking move, with the rocks shooting up, sometimes there would clearly be no fucking rocks on the ground. And yet for some goddamn reason, the rocks would still shoot out and fucking hit me. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people really like Malekith, but I just can never see him the same after that. Still a very cool looking boss, but personally for me, from an actual design standpoint, there's just too much annoying shit about him for me to actually like the boss. And maybe he just scarred me, and that's why I can never look at him the same, but I just wanted to get that off my chest. I just wanted to talk about that, since I feel like it's kind of a controversial thing. I don't know, I've never heard anyone else say it. But I think there's enough about that. I'm going to get back to actually talking about the DLC. Another part of the DLC that I really liked was honestly just the build-up to it coming out. I remember being in some fuck-ass business class watching the first ever trailer for Shadow of the Erdtree, and I remember all the speculation that me and all my friends had of what exactly was going to happen in the DLC. And I remember the day of, before it actually dropped, we all got like a fuck ton of energy drinks and were prepared to just play all night long. It was honestly just a really fun time. I remember that day very well. It was just a really fun time being super excited for something to come out. Honestly, I don't know if I had ever been that excited for something to come out. I was really fucking hyped, and it was really fun just watching it, getting it downloaded and being ready to play it. It was really awesome. And though it was just a little part, it did really add to making that summer even more enjoyable. And while I don't necessarily say Elden Ring is the game that got me into Souls games, like I said, it'll always be DS1 in my opinion. It was the game that got me to truly enjoy these games, in a sense. I do wonder if I would have ever decided to ever play DS1 if I never played Elden Ring. Because while I didn't enjoy my first playthrough of Elden Ring, a part of me wanted to play DS1 simply because I had played Elden Ring like a year or year and a half before that. Would I have literally ever played these games if it wasn't at least for that first playthrough of Elden Ring? Because I probably honestly would have never fucking known about these games if it wasn't for Elden Ring. But I don't really know. I like to think I still would have played the games, but honestly, I'll never know. So I could tell you exactly what I love about every other Souls game. What really stands out to me in every single one of those games that makes me rank them where I do. But why I have Elden Ring as my number 1 and my number 2 game ever is a bit more of a tricky question for me to answer. I know I listed off a bunch of shit in the video, but even still, I'm still not exactly sure what it is that makes me love the game so much. I honestly just do. I just love Elden Ring. And I do think that's all I have to talk about in this one. I do hope you guys enjoyed this video and all the other Souls reviews. If you haven't checked those out, I think you should, but I don't know. That's up to you. So I guess I'll see you guys in the next video, whenever that'll be. See you later.